Tim Moore, Adam Tropper reporting here from Darlington Raceway as it's time for the playoffs. The Craftsman Truck Series start things off here on this Saturday afternoon, and the NASCAR Cup Series has the Southern 500 tomorrow. And usually when we present you coverage going into a race weekend, we give you our thoughts as soon as we get to the track. But today, with a little wonkiness and the Xfinity Series being in Portland, we actually come to you live after Cup Series qualifying, where Denny Hamlin will start on the pole for the Southern 500 tomorrow. But Tropper, before we talk about Denny Hamlin, the Craftsman Truck Series, it's the Sober Slammer 200, my favorite race title of the year, by the way. And needless to say, Lane Riggs, Chandler Smith, 1-2 for FRM despite everything that's going on. And we're not going to talk about the lawsuit, of course, but just how huge is it for this team to turn around, find success, and to be in the mix and show speed immediately right out of the gate?
It's massive because FRM, they've been running good this year, but really Lane Riggs especially might be the only chance to take over from Corey Heim. Corey Heim is so good in that Tricon Garage car, and he would be my pick to win. But with FRM having that 1-2 front row today, they're going to be tough to beat. Lane Riggs, especially Chandler Smith, both are very good and will be contenders tonight.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, again, you need a little bit of luck to win this. That was the main topic as well throughout the bullpen with a lot of drivers that, listen, doesn't matter if it's the Cup Series or Truck Series, and I can't repeat what Carson Hocevar told me, but practice don't mean none ya, needless to say. But when you get into the race time, you need a little bit of luck to make things happen. But we got to talk about Denny Hamlin. On the pole, looking for another win. Big statement. And by the way, Chase Briscoe in second. Huge momentum for this Joe Gibbs group going into tomorrow.
Absolutely, and especially for Denny Hamlin. It's no secret he has a chip on his shoulder right now. Once again, we won't go into the loss or anything, but he arguably is the championship favorite. 4 wins this season already. He has 5 wins at Darlington alone already. This is second pole in his career here, but I talked to him before in the press conference. He has a different mentality starting up front, and I think it could work out very well for him. So you got to look out for Hamlin to get his 5th win of the season and really make a statement at the beginning of the playoffs.
Yeah, and also other notables as well. Big struggles for Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman in qualifying. Eager to see how Hemric approaches the race tomorrow in terms of what their car's done with the split. But from Tim Moore, from Adam Tropper, it's the Sober Slammer 200. Let's go racing here at Darlington.
Even Carson Hocevar was there to watch the Truck Series in action, but amidst the playoffs, a couple of underdogs shined, including Timmy Hill, who was fastest in practice and finished 8th.
Quick in practice, we got a little help with the conditions as far as being first in practice, but nonetheless, I felt good about our truck. And we just fought hard all day long, went from 23rd to 13th in the first stage, maintained that to 12th in the second stage, and climbed into the top 10 to finish this race off. So nonetheless, these guys did a tremendous job. They kept me in on pit road, great adjustments, and the truck drove great. So to the story of today, man, it was just consistency and hard work and a great drive. So these guys, I can't thank them enough.
When you get your chances to get in the truck, and obviously as well get in any car, when you have results like this, just what does it tell about your career and just who Timmy Hill is to get an opportunity to race, especially on Sunday where you're going to be doing the double tomorrow?
Yeah, it can be hard. A lot of times for me, I drive for a lot of underfunded teams. I've never really driven for these massive operations. So, some people don't even know who I am. I kind of operate in the shadows, but nonetheless, I love this sport. Whether it's the trucks, the Xfinity, the Cup cars, I love being here. The experience I got, it tops almost anybody. So there's a lot of value there, and I bet on myself. This is the reason why I have this truck team and run my own stuff. And I'm always appreciative to Carl Long and Garage 66 for letting me run the Cup car as well. And for me, it's hard to get these opportunities. And we dig down, and I got 2 great guys that work with me, and they've helped me make this dream happen. It's hard to be here, but nonetheless, it's a blessing, and it's a career that I wouldn't trade for anybody.
And I do have to ask one more question coming from an iRacing background. Just about how many laps have you ran here at Darlington over the years?
Yeah, it's funny. I used to be on iRacing every single night running laps, and the amount of laps is countless. I couldn't even tell you, but it's I still get on every once in a while, not near as much. I got 2 brand new kids, and they take all my time, and that's a blessing in itself. So. iRacing has been a great tool. I still get to hop on. I still get to run a little bit of sim with Toyota, and trust me, the value that brings is tremendous. So for all the young drivers who are looking for opportunities, tracks that they're approaching. I tell people all the time, it's a great tool to have.
And speaking of continuous laps, obviously running but double, does running but trucks today help, or if the cars are so different, how would it help you for tomorrow, if it does at all?
Well, it does, because throughout the race, this may be a shorter race, but the track changes throughout the race, and as a driver, whether it's a truck or a car, you're going to see how that track changes. You're going to see how competition reacts to it, and nonetheless, you're going to have pit road and different things, restarts that will help in any scenario. So the cars and trucks may be different, but race experience is always a factor.
Appreciate it.
One last question, just talking about, throughout the day in terms of like wear and tear. Obviously, first off, how are you feeling going into tomorrow? And also tire-wise, what we saw early on, a lot of guys cutting down tires. Did you have any concerns at all?
I had concerns for seeing other trucks pop tires, but after the first pit stop, the guys told me, he says, hey, our campers, our wear looks really good. Don't even worry about it. So after that, I felt good about things. As far as physically, I'm so used to running, 2-3 races in a weekend, for a truck race. This is a warmer weekend, I just sweat some, but honestly, this technology these guys have, we got cool suits, we got helmet blowers. When I used to run triple headers, I didn't have any of that stuff, so things have gotten a lot easier as far as driver. I know some guys get tired, but I feel conditioned, I feel good to go.
Another cool story, Trevor Bayne, the 2011 Daytona 500 winner, who finished 5th in his return to the Truck Series.
First stock car race in almost 2 years now. How does it feel to be back first off?
Well, I loved it. I'm so thankful for the opportunity that I've been helping. Victory Junction allowed me to drive this one truck. Legacy Motor Club, Tricon Garage. It was a joint effort, Toyota. I love being around the Truck Series. I've been able to do that with Fox in the broadcast booth. Been able to work with all the Tricon Garage drivers this year. Congratulations to Corey on his win in the playoffs. For me, I didn't know what to expect. And honestly, was probably the most nervous I've ever been coming into a race. I don't know if it's because I didn't want my young drivers talking smack to me, or if you just never know when your last race is going to be. Friday was rocky. We were not great. The truck was a handful up the hill, but Jake and my team got the truck better all day long. We kept moving forward. Pit stops were great. We just executed a race. I think I hit the wall 4 or 5 times, which isn't bad for me at Darlington. Normally I have one extra pit stop for a flat tire, and I didn't have to do that today, so good day overall.
It was a solid start to the postseason for several drivers. Second place Daniel Hemric, third place Grant Enfinger, and fourth place Ty Majeski spoke with Tim and Adam about their runs.
First off, talk to me just how relieving this is after how Richmond went to end the regular season, and just how big is it for your guys' momentum to kind of start getting back on track now when it matters?
Yeah, I'd already forgot about the other one, right? I said right after I got out of the truck that page had already flipped, so yeah, it was just cool to see this 19 team find another level today, our most highly executed weekend of the year. And so proud of that, proud of the timing of that for sure. It was really cool of Napa to allow us to run this really cool Grey Ghost paint scheme. It was just important for this team to continue to come together, and we did that today, and we found another level, and it's good to maximize that.
And there was a lot of tire issues early. I'm wondering how concerned were you throughout the race about tires, and how much did you at least have talk about it?
Yeah, it was. It definitely, you see it happening around you, especially for the guys in front of you. So you're aware of it. And I had, about a straightaway in front of me and behind me, with about 8 or 10 to go of that last, the last part of that first stage. And yeah, from then on, I went to 50%, just trying to make sure, not that we had a problem coming, just to make sure they could at least look at the first set of tires. And after they gave me the all clear, they all looked good. It was really wasn't even thawed all day. So yeah, just a testament to these guys, everyone back at the shop. For what they've put into this vehicle and this entire program over the last couple of weeks. They had the opportunity to have days off, and they didn't take them. They wanted to work to try to find that next step for us. So appreciate them, Chevrolet, and everyone for, like I said, pushing to another level, and it's cool to find that.
How does a run like this in general just help confidence and momentum for you and the team going forward, especially at this point in the season?
I think it helps not just a solid finish, but a solid performance from when we unloaded, and we're very close balance-wise, travel-wise, qualifying adjustments, pit road adjustments. I think in general it's just a solid day, and we haven't had a lot of those this year, but I feel like maybe we're building some momentum, and maybe we can execute when the time is right.
Yeah, it's hard. You don't know what the flat tire came from. I got on the fence just a little bit, maybe 15 laps in, and you don't know if that came from damage or I ran something over. Obviously, if it came from that damage, it was likely to happen again. So, you can maybe survive one of those, but if it happens the second time, you're going to probably be caught, 1-2 laps down. And, have one less set of tires than everybody. So, thankfully it worked out. We, kind of bit the bullet at a couple times today. Doing that green flag pit stop, and then again fixing the damage after stage 2 cost us some track position again. We're up to like 13th, 14th, and we decided to take a longer pit stop, make sure nothing else happened poorly, and caused ourselves a couple spots, but yielded ourselves a good finish. So proud of the effort, proud of the decisions that we made today. Kind of starting out our championship run very similar to last year. So.
But as the day derailed for Front Row Motorsports after they swept the front row with Lane Riggs and Chandler Smith, the star of the series stepped up yet again, as Corey Heim had good pit strategy, a fast truck, and picked up yet another victory, picking up right where he left off in the regular season.
Now that you got the win and locked into the next round, obviously you mentioned you didn't want to be complacent going into the next 2 races. But if you could have an outlook into into round 2, what are your thoughts right now with those tracks, and how could you progress moving forward?
I think we can learn a little bit from Bristol. We've always been good there, but not necessarily like cutting edge speed like we look for. So I would assume we're going to do a little bit with the setup from our normal package and try to advance that, of course. But Loudon's kind of a different one. I feel like it sort of has some maybe Phoenix 1 and 2 similarities. So understanding what we need to do to, first of all, just bring a good truck in general, but also learn from the package we bring and apply it to Phoenix if we were to make it there. It's pretty important. So, every race, even if we are locked into the next round, is very important just to learn as far as our packages go and our setups and whatnot. So that's definitely important to us still, but also just going into the round of 8, being able to stack up more playoff points and make ourselves more comfortable with the chaotic round that the round of 8 is. So, it's all important at the end of the day. We're not just going to hang out for the next couple of weeks and wait for the round of 8. I think it's definitely important that we utilize the opportunity that we've been given and keep moving forward.
I mean, now this is 8 wins. You're 1 away from Biffle. Just how focused are you on the single season record, at least in terms of wins?
I mean, I don't really individualize anything like that. I think the goal every week is to go out and try to win the race, of course. And I feel like our mentality and our approach is just really good for that on a consistency basis. We don't. I mean, we're in a spot to not feel desperate, but I don't feel like we've ever gone into a race feeling super desperate, So I think that mentality definitely plays a role in kind of what's, been successful and what's worked for us this year. But at the same time, it'd be awesome to have that, as a career kind of milestone or a record for myself and the truck series and stuff. But I think that's something that I would more reflect on rather than look forward to personally. But it also just puts into perspective how good we've been as an organization and as a team this year. So certainly really appreciative of Track on Garage, Shoida, Safe Light for putting us in the spot and being able to take advantage of it this year.
And one last question. Obviously now 3 out of the last 4, your worst finish is 3rd, and you open up the playoffs with a win and move to the round of 8. Would you say this is the best stretch of your career in terms of races, or?
As far as success, yeah, I'd say so. I feel like I've had better odds or better chances at going 3 in a row. Like the last 2 races, I didn't feel like we were the best truck. We were in contention and we were in the running for it, but we weren't like absolutely dominating, as far as speed goes the last 2. I mean, maybe Watkins Glen, I think we were the best truck, but it's just racing it's crazy the way it works. You can have the best stuff and something can go your way every race. Like we've had stretches like that, and you can have stretches where you're maybe not the best truck and things just go your way. It's just it's weird the way it works like that. But to answer your question, I mean, it's definitely in the running for one of the best stretches of my career, but definitely just going to look forward and to Bristol and try to keep that going.
Tying a bow on our Truck Series coverage, it was announced last weekend that Ram would return with Colleague Racing. Their Cup driver, AJ Allmendinger, spoke about that.
It's not like I got a wealth of truck racing knowledge, but yeah, to try to help build it. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the focus will always be on the Cup program. If I'm in it, the focus will be whatever I am full time. But yeah, if they want me to drive it, I'll drive it.
See, if there was a race you did want to do, which race would it be ultimately?
Oh, I haven't thought enough of it, honestly. It's I can promise you it won't be Daytona or Talladega.
Switching to the Cup Series, the second race of the year at the track too tough to tame, Denny Hamlin won in the spring and then captured the pole for the race in the fall.
Adam Tropper, Motorsports Today. First off, congrats on pole, Denny. So this is only your second pole at Darlington, regardless of all the success you've had here. And we've touched a little bit already on track position and all the other factors. But mentally, what does this say going into this weekend, being able to say you are starting on pole for the Southern 500? Does that differ from any other years where you may have started more back of the pack and still worked your way up?
Yeah, I mean, it does, simply because I just felt as though we struggled during practice, and I was worried about, well, if we're stuck in this box for the weekend of this setup, then we're probably going to qualify bad. We're probably not going to get very good stage points, on and on and on. But that's thinking way too far ahead. It's about the moment, and what I feel like we can do well is that we kind of put things to the side and say, okay, we'll handle that later. Let's figure out what we can do to go fast for one lap. Tell me what you need for that. And so I focus on that, give them the information, and they make the proper adjustments like they did right there. So it's a big momentum boost for myself personally, knowing that we are able to get the car where it needs to be, even though it was considerably off in practice.
Last summer's crown jewel under the lights and this spring's day race had a lot of differences, particularly the number of leaders and passes. Kyle Busch, AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Preece, and Michael McDowell all weighed in on that and what it takes to win at the track too tough to tame.
Here you finished second, and that race had 26 lead changes. In the spring, there were only 4 of you. So what is the path to victory this week with third track that you've historically had success at?
I mean, clean air is king. You know, that's why this race was so plagued with passes for the lead. I mean, the 24 car was really strong. He was a fast car. He was out front. He set sail. When he got back in traffic, he couldn't go anywhere, you know. So that's just the nature of this car and what we're racing with.
Which side of the coin do you see this weekend being with the track conditions and how everything's going to play out?
Well, perfect world, I lead every lap. That would be make the race most boring as possible because we led every lap. Will that happen? Probably not. But yeah, it's part of motorsports. I know we get in this concept that every race has got to be this, oh my God, you know, nose to tail, side by side, door banging to the finish. But it is motorsports, and at times somebody does go out there and kick your ass. That's a part of life, and I know it's not the most exciting thing sometimes, and you know, we jump to conclusions, and no doubt that certain racetrack, the racing's got to be better than it's been. But there could be somebody that goes out there and figures it out and dominates the race and leads, you know, 3/4 of the race, and that's it. That's life sometimes. That's motorsports, and you know, so we'll see what happens.
You know, this race is definitely different. It goes through a transition, right? So we're going to start with some track temp, and it's going to cool off, and all those things. So, yeah, I think this race is going to be a little bit different, but I feel like if we can unload and qualify as well as we did in the spring, we'll be able to keep up with it all and have a good day.
Now that you've had a practice to analyze, do you have an idea of at least what side of the coin maybe we could see tomorrow? I know the conditions as well are going to be different.
No, I mean, this practice at 9 a.m. doesn't move the needle for what we're going to have tomorrow. I mean, I know we're racing at night and all that stuff. I just can't explain to you how different it's going to be. So, no, I don't think that that's a good indicator of anything. But it's kind of like that here anyways. Even when it's in the heat of the day, it's still not the same when you get all the cars on the track and all the rubber. And obviously this morning the track was super green when we went out in Group A, and that's why you saw it so fast. And then you see by the time Group B came out, it's already slowed down and kind of balances out. So I think for tomorrow, that first run will be really important to see, you know, how your car builds and where the tires are falling off to, and that'll help you determine your strategy moving forward.
And obviously, too, when you come here, it's always a test of fortitude. 500 miles is a lot, but what is it about luck? Because the last 7 races here in particular, we've seen 7 different winners. Where does that play into things? Do you just have to be in the right spot, right time to put yourself? Because I know we've seen cautions while in the middle of pit cycles of late.
Yeah, I mean, that does happen here just because that last run's so long, right? And there are a lot of strategies here, you know, whether you break it up or if you gamble and break it up even one more time than everybody else. And we've seen that work. But if that caution comes out, you're dead in the water. You're a lap down potentially. So, but I'm trying to think, you know, these races get blurred in my mind, but I feel like I feel like the best cars still end up towards the front. I mean, even with Chase last year, I mean, he ran in the top 3 majority of that race, but then got track position that last stop, right, and just held on to it. But I think it's you're still going to have to be in the top 5 all night to have a shot at it.
As we discussed on the show earlier this week, perhaps the biggest surprise entering the playoffs was that there's no representation from RFK Racing despite their strong summer. Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, and Ryan Preece all spoke about their seasons and what went wrong.
And it's no secret the beginning of this season was rough for the 6 teams, but the summer stretch, very good. And even though you didn't make the playoffs, what type of momentum have you guys been able to build from that and continue to do so throughout the remainder of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it shows what we're capable of, for sure. When we fire on all 8 cylinders here. I feel like we had a really good month of July, early August. We had a couple opportunities to win and weren't quite able to punch through, but it feels good to be that competitive.
Get that penalty after Kansas, and you only missed by 30 points. Does that make that L1 penalty any more frustrating for you? Or
No, it was frustrating at the time. So, at the end of the day, we also figured that was going to play a big part at the end, and it certainly did as well. I mean, we're certainly no fortune tellers around here, but we knew it was going to take a win. We knew those points were ultimately going to kick us, it's where we're at. Can't change any of that now. So I mean, it's looked at that 2 days later and realized that it was our backup plan was spoiled by that. So frustrating, but I mean, we got to get to the point where we're winning races. We got to win them earlier in the season. We've won 2 of the last 3 years. We've won in the playoffs while we're not in the playoffs. So we got to step it up a little earlier.
Obviously, you had a really consistent season, but missing the playoffs obviously isn't ideal. But what can you take away from the first 26 races with RFK, and even going into next season that you could build momentum off of?
Yeah, no, it's been great, honestly. Racing with Brad and everybody there has been fun, and they put together a great group, and I look forward to the next 10 races of honestly just continuing to build momentum.
Tim Moore, Adam Tropper coming here from Darlington Raceway. It's time for the main event for the Cookout Southern 500, again here at Darlington. It's the start of the playoffs. Yesterday it was Corey Heim getting the win, putting himself 1 win away from Greg Biffle's record in the Craftsman Truck Series for the most wins in a single season, and he advanced himself into the round of 8. Now today, potentially another driver could move on in the playoffs, this time to the round of 12, and it'll be Denny Hamlin alongside teammate Chase Briscoe, who will start things off on pole. Behind us, it's intros, but it's electric. I'll tell you what, Tropper, here at Darlington. First off, we got to talk to some legends before this. Regan Smith, Jeff Burton, Greg Biffle. So much energy coming into this weekend. How exciting has it been?
It's insane. The energy is absolutely contagious. I mean, you look at this, it is the start of the playoffs. Someone is going to win a championship in 10 weeks. Not to mention just a crown jewel, the Southern 500 win. The sun comes down. We are going to see incredible racing and incredible vibes. That's really all you can say. And this is going to be the start of a great night.
Well, you mentioned the start of a great night. A lot of guys said yesterday about practice, it didn't have as much of an impact because it was a morning practice. This race going to be a day to night transition. 500 miles is a long one. Of course, if you saw what happened here the last time, it was Chase Briscoe who picked up the big victory for Stuart Haas Racing. But Tropper, who do you have today? I have William Byron coming from the back, him, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin. Constant mainstays up in the front here at Darlington. Who do you think?
Call me simple, but I got to go with our pole winner, Denny Hamlin. He is exceptional at Darlington. 5 career wins. Will be his second pole at the track. He's looking to make a statement. Chase Briscoe, really any of the Toyotas. I want to give a shout out to Briscoe. You said he won with SHR last year, but he almost swept all the crown jewel poles this year. So close, but I think it's going to come down between the 11 and the 19. Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota is looking to make a real statement here tonight.
And I'm just going to remind you of this. I know NASCAR Analytics will tell you that Ryan Blaney isn't a competitor here, but just a reminder, had a bad pit stop not happened, Ryan Blaney would have won this race if you go back to what happened in the springtime. But from Tim Moore, from Adam Tropper, I'll tell you what, it's been one fun weekend here at Darlington. You hear it in the background. It's lively here. Cookout, Southern 500, right here. Motorsports Today, don't miss it.
Darlington always has its underdogs who perform, and that was no different on Sunday night. Let's start with the drivers not in the playoffs who had big runs. 3rd place Erik Jones and 5th place AJ Allmendinger.
You mentioned your car feeling good. I just want to know, how did you feel about the short run? How did caution come out late? And do you think you could have done anything?
Yeah, I mean, I felt good about it. We could pick up some spots all night restart-wise, but we were a little snug all night. Late caution, it'd been tough. We'd had to restart front row, and it'd been pretty aggressive to try to beat the 19 on the short run. He was really strong there, so we'd have had a shot, but it'd been tough.
At the start of the weekend, this place had been unpredictable for you. Once you kind of got through the first quarter of the race, did it become a little bit predictable? You think you could have had a chance, not just at the top 5, but a win?
I don't know if it's predictable. God, every lap I'm like, oh my God, go down on the corner like, please don't fence this thing. One lap you're like, okay, I've got it. The next lap you go in, you go, oh my God, I'm so far off right now. But yeah, it's I at least felt comfortable enough to know how to get around the place, and there's still always things that I can be better at, but it's good to run some laps and feel like I belong out there around this place.
How confusing does pit strategy get when you see some guys going faster, flying around you, having no idea who's on what?
Well, the old saying here, you got to race the racetrack. It gets tough sometimes, but you still got to. That's what you got to focus on. You got to race the racetrack. You got to go out there and you can't worry about their strategy. Can't just because somebody goes by. Even if you're on equal tires and somebody goes by, you can't overdrive it. I think I do that a lot here, and I felt like I did a decent job to not do that most of the time. So, it's just what this place is.
As is the case in round 1 of the playoffs every year, regardless of the venue, it proved troublesome for some postseason drivers. Denny Hamlin had a clutch issue in the pits. Alex Bowman lost multiple laps because of a pit gun issue. Shane Van Gisbergen struggled as well, and Josh Berry crashed before the race even completed its first lap. Hamlin recovered for a top 10, but he, Van Gisbergen, and Bowman all spoke about their struggles in the playoff opener.
Obviously, you guys had a pretty good rebound overall, finishing top 10, but what else specifically would you be able to take into the next 2 races and beyond from this season?
Well, we just, honestly, we know, but, just realizing that one bad stop changes everything. I wish it wasn't. I wish that you could just say, well, you're going to rebound and come back. But certainly when you go from inside the top 2 or 3 to last on the lead lap, I knew our Southern 500 was over at that point. And so the battle was to try to get back into the top 10. We were able to do that. So we had a great car. It's just not enough to pass mediocre cars.
The rest of the round of 16, how do you guys expect to just be able to continue?
We got to be better. It was whatever we changed from yesterday, we were half decent actually, and then I don't know, went into the first corner and it just plowed tight. Never got better from that.
And it seems like, at least in the first stage, you were doing a really good job managing your tires and everything. Is that just something with Darlington?
Oh, I don't know, man. We just sucked all day, and then got unlucky at the end, so I need to be better.
Shitty, unacceptable day on kind of all fronts, I don't know. We weren't great when we unloaded. Didn't qualify well, so we got caught up in that first skill a little bit, lost a little bit of track position that we had, and then just kind of fell apart from there. And just honestly, without all that, we're just really, really, really slow. So, not from a lack of effort by any of these guys. They all work super hard back in the shop, and everybody's putting in a lot of work. But unfortunately, we just miss it this week. Obviously, I haven't gotten a look at it, but I could see my teammates, so I'd assume we all missed it a little bit. And just a shit day, but could have been a lot worse for sure.
It was a disastrous start to the playoffs for Christopher Bell, who was fast like his Toyota teammates, but tangled with Carson Hocevar in the pits and finished 29th. Bell was not happy with Hocevar or the 77 team.
He didn't give way, and I would say that it's our responsibility to not run into him if he's racing for position. But the fact that he was the one who brought the yellow out, the only reason that we had contact was because he was so far behind the field catching up. That's very frustrating, and honestly, I don't really give blame to Carson. I think it's more on his team to not let him know the circumstances. That he's pitted on an island with all the playoff cars. He just spun, brought out the yellow. He's not going to gain a spot on pit road, and he didn't give way and ruin my night. So it's a bummer.
Will you be having a conversation with them this week at all, or?
I don't know. I talked to Adam about it, and the more that he thought about it, the more frustrated he got. And I need to make sure that I dot my I's and cross my T's and understand what fully happened. But the picture that I see, he wasn't going to gain a spot on pit road. He should have been able to give way to the playoff cars.
Even amidst the lawsuit drama, no team had a better collective effort to start the playoffs than 23XI Racing. Tyler Reddick came home second after an amazing save on the opening lap, while Bubba Wallace finished sixth. Wallace spoke about his different mindset in the playoffs this year, thanks to his win at Indianapolis.
So getting your win at Indianapolis, how much did that extra time to prepare for this first playoff race help you compared to other years where you may not have had that luxury?
Yeah, it was a nice month to just enjoy the moment, enjoy where we were at. It's been, really cool just to see everybody thriving since that win. But, finally feeling that playoff pressure switch, like I'm not relaxed anymore. I'm focused. But it's 9 more weeks of pure determination and grit, and we gotta show up and be ready.
But the 2025 Southern 500 was dominated by the same man who won it in 2024. Chase Briscoe couldn't capture the pole from JGR teammate Denny Hamlin, but took the lead early and never looked back. Over 300 laps led en route to his second win of the year, as Briscoe is on to the round of 12.
Chase, when you came in here yesterday, you talked about obviously how you wanted to, try to push at least to set a record with the poles and the crown jewel races. Obviously, you came one spot shy of that. But today, you became the first driver in about 20 years to win back-to-back Southern 500s, and also became the first driver since Bobby Allison in the 70s to lead 300-plus laps in a Southern 500. So how special is that for you, and does it hold any value?
Yeah, it's cool for sure. I'd be lying if I said I'm still not mad about yesterday, just because I gave it away, and that was such a cool stat. Like to be able to say that you had won all 4 crown jewels, and I was telling my wife, like the odds of that ever happening are so slim, just because. First off, just get the Daytona 500 pole is so hard to do, and then to obviously do it at all of them. I just know that in my career, I will probably never have that opportunity again. And obviously it's never been done in the 75 history, right? Like that's just such a hard thing to do. So that one stings, but yeah, for sure. I mean, to be able to win here back to back and, do it. And I didn't know that stat. Nobody's led over 300 laps. I felt like a lot of guys have done that, but I guess it hasn't been done. So yeah, it's cool. I mean, anytime you can do something in NASCAR that's not been done a whole lot, it's a special feeling. I mean, just because it's a list of who's who, and honestly, in today's world, I feel like it's so hard to go and dominate a race. Like you just don't see it because the field is so tight. So yeah, it definitely means a lot doing it.
And I'm wondering from your perspective that obviously last year's win was so huge because of how it changed the season, and then here today you come out dominating. You said this was the expectation of what you needed in the playoffs. So my question to you is more of, is this the best put together win of your career, would you say, or are there other races?
Man, that's a tough question. I felt like last year I drove a better race just from start to finish, and just, my car I didn't feel like was necessarily the best car, and, just the circumstances and everything. I definitely felt like last year I just drove a way better race and executed. Like tonight I hit the wall super hard with 40 to go, and that was stupid when I did it. And then, with 8 to go, I did it really, really hard and kind of got stuck in it. I just didn't run a very clean race, and my green flag pit stops just weren't really aggressive. So yeah, I definitely feel like if I had to pick one, I still would say last year was more, I wouldn't say more gratifying, but I just feel like I did a better overall job last year, where today, I mean, my car was so good. Like as long as I didn't do anything to screw it up, I knew I was going to be in the catbird seat to win tonight. So yeah, it's just different, when you're coming from behind versus, leading the whole time. Definitely changes a lot, I feel like, of just how you feel about it.
Something Greg Biffle didn't do 20 years ago when he won back-to-back was win with 2 different teams. So now with SHR and Verho's situation of shutting down at the end of the season and now being at a powerhouse in Joe Gibbs Racing, is there anything you could differentiate, obviously besides the cars itself, that really makes it more or less special this year compared to last?
No, not really. I mean, it's special. Anytime you win in the Cup Series, it's special. It's just such a hard thing to do. So, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I remember after Pocono, I talked about how like it just didn't feel as cool to win, or like it just didn't feel the same, right, as all my other wins. But tonight definitely felt different, just because you dominated, and it definitely feels different than Pocono. But I would say still, last year the feeling of winning was such a underdog team, and just the situation that it was, and winning your way into the playoffs, it definitely. I mean, they're both cool, but I would say that one. And plus, it's your first crown jewel. Like, it feels different when it's that. But, I mean, tonight it's still definitely special for sure.
And on top of that, this is your first ever playoff win in the NASCAR Cup Series. So does this open up the floodgates, or is there a way to build more momentum off of this?
I hope so. I mean, certainly, I think just the confidence and the momentum that comes with, not only winning, but just winning the way that we did. I mean, that's a big thing for a team. So yeah, and plus I think it opens us up for the next 2 weeks, to do things a little bit different, maybe strategy wise, just because we know that we have the win in the bag, and you can hopefully steal a stage point or two or whatever. So I definitely think it it helps us for sure.
Tim Moore, Adam Tropper, wrapping things up here from Darlington Raceway for a Cookout Southern 500 weekend. And if you tuned into our coverage in May, you would have thought, well, the race was going to be boring. Of course, William Byron went on to lead so many laps in that race, and Denny Hamlin won late. And tonight, listen, there was 24 lead changes, and sure, that all came through the pit cycle, but at the end of the day, Chase Briscoe had 300-plus laps, and you would say, that sounds boring, but it was anything but that. Chase Briscoe not only dominated in his route to victory and earned it from start to finish, but there was other drivers who had chances too. Tyler Reddick, Erik Jones, they were all in the mix and had their chances late, but nothing was better than the 19 car. And Tropper, I have to say it like this. When Chase Briscoe came in the media center yesterday, he said, our expectations to win. We haven't talked about the playoffs much at all, if anything. And honestly, it showed that today. He was focused, he was determined, and when it was all said and done, Chase Briscoe became the first driver in 19 years to win back-to-back Southern 500s here in Darlington.
Yep, and something that hasn't been done in more than 20 years since Greg Biffle did it back then. 2 different teams he was won with. Chase Briscoe last year, SHR team that was shutting down, nothing to lose. He gets it done, and then he backs it up today and proves it in insanely dominating fashion. It's not too many times you lead over 300 laps at a Southern 500 and still be able to seal the deal. But that's exactly what Briscoe and the 19 team did. JGR is a juggernaut, and they are proving why they have a momentum going into the remainder of the playoffs.
And there was also multiple drivers who had their issues today. Denny Hamlin had pit issues. Alex Bowman lost 2 laps because his pit gun didn't work. And he wasn't the only one, really. Hemric had a mediocre day overall. Chase Elliott was the best finisher in 17th. But Tropper, through everything outside of Josh Berry, who, by the way, crashed on lap 1 and really had a tough outcome because of it, though he did get the fastest lap of the race, which gave him an extra point. Who had the toughest day, in your opinion?
Had to be Denny Hamlin. He was able to recover for a top 10 finish, but after that bad pit stop, the stage points that he lost, kind of like his podcast, accidents detrimental. And Bubba Wallace post-race said the best to me. It takes grit and determination to make it through the next 9 weeks, and we'll have to see who survives and advances throughout the playoffs.